Hello and welcome to The Lucky Roll, an eclectic channel for eclectic games. And today we're doing a retro review of Star Trek The Next Generation, the interactive video board game. It's a game that was released in 1993 and is set on the Starship Enterprise NCC-1701D, in which members of a skeleton repair crew must seize control of the Enterprise D back from the deranged Captain Kavok, who seeks to spark a war between the Federation and the Klingon Empire by using the Enterprise to invade and fire on the Klingon homeworld of Kronos. Captain Kavok communicates to the players through a VHS tape that also doubles as a timer for the game, as players only have a single hour to stop Kavok's mad mission before the Federation and the Klingon Empire are plunged into an interstellar war. The game borrows an awful lot from Atmosphere, the video board game, and improves upon the idea with a solid game mechanic and much higher production values that were filmed on the actual Next Generation TV series sets from Paramount Studios. It's combined with a superb performance by Robert O'Reilly as Captain Kavok, with narration from Jonathan Frakes as William T. Riker, and is directed by Les Landau, who has directed multiple episodes of the Star Trek franchise.
Computer, lay in a course for Kronos. Warp 9. Execute!
After setup, every player is issued with a comm badge, a rank, and a tricorder, and play is pressed on the VHS cassette tape. What follows is a very nice touch, as the camera switches to different view stations on the Enterprise, featuring Kavok as he addresses the players. It's a small thing, but a very significant one, as it shows the level of care and thought they put into this game to authenticate the experience as much as possible for the players, by giving the impression that they were viewing Kavok from different parts of the ship. Kavok explains his plan to restore honor to the Empire by sparking a war between the Federation and the Klingon Empire by using the Enterprise to fire on the Klingon homeworld. However, in his words, "No battle is honorable, no victory full without the challenge of a worthy adversary." So he offers the players an opportunity to seize control of the Enterprise back from him by collecting isolinear chips that they attach to their tricorders in order to gain access to the bridge. Players then see the camera pan out to space, with the 60-minute clock ticking down with a starship ambient soundscape perfectly setting the tone. If the clock reaches 0, the game is over and Kavok wins the game. The board itself is a nice big clear image of the Enterprise, with stills from the TV series serving as various rooms you must visit in order to get isolinear chips. As well as computer access spaces, it is dotted with other spaces that give players access to the holodeck, turbolifts, move again spaces, miss a turn, report to sickbay, and all stasis field released. In order to gain isolinear chips, players must land on computer access spaces and hope that they pick up a room location card in which they can collect one. Other cards that can be picked up are time cards that permit the player to do a variety of things at certain times, such as request aid from other players by taking extra turns, taking from their deck of cards, or releasing players from stasis fields in which Kavok occasionally traps them with to prevent them taking their turn.
The computer has reactivated the turbolifts, but that is of little consequence. You! The crew member who is moving now. I place you in a stasis field.
Players can only move in a clockwise direction, so despite the fact that it would be easier to simply turn back 5 spaces to enter a room such as crew quarters after leaving 10 forward, players must instead traverse the entire saucer section and stern section of the ship in a clockwise direction in order to finally access the crew quarters room. And Kalis help you if you land on the report to sickbay space, which will force you to make the entire journey again by placing you immediately back in the wrong part of the saucer section, as well as missing a turn as you recuperate from your sickbay trip. Whilst this can be frustrating, it brings an added little tension to the experience, as the whole game is a race against time, and having your progress impeded by both this and Captain Kavok makes it all the more fun. As players acquire isolinear chips, their computer access and player powers increase. The first chip gives you holodeck access, in which you can access holodeck programs of the bridge crew when you land on a holodeck space to aid you in your mission. The second chip gives you turbolift access, which allows you to traverse the board much more easily, as you can travel from one turbolift space to another in a ship, but only if you land on it by exact count. The third chip grants you phaser access from the armory, as you will need a phaser in order to stun Kavok. The fourth chip grants you immunity from being trapped in a stasis field, and the final isolinear chip gives you bridge access, in which you must crawl through the Jeffries tube to tackle Captain Kavok and save the Enterprise.
Men! You think you're a challenge? Not yet. I have programmed a power blackout in all rooms of this ship, as is said on Kronos. Those without honor are always in darkness. Only those of you in corridors will be able to move.
Robert O'Reilly's fury as Kavok, as low-level malfunctions plague his attempts to punish or trap players, is a highlight of the game. In keeping with the theme of the episode, the computer errors continually sabotage Kavok's efforts to trap you, and gives a genuine sense of struggle between the players and Kavok to gain control of the Enterprise, as the game can thematically allow the players to play and continue to play without undermining Kavok's efforts to win. Without going into spoilers, the last 5 minutes of the game, the ambient sound of the starship is replaced with tense music, as suddenly Kavok is on the verge of victory, and players scramble to help each other to reach the bridge in time. Kavok's interruptions become more frequent, as he too becomes increasingly tense and desperate as the clock ticks down, and those last 5 minutes are always the most fun, tense and memorable of the game. I've played this game as a child and as an adult, and it's just as much fun today as it was when I was a child. I've played it with Star Trek fans who, whilst they had no interest in board games, always enjoyed this experience. And I've played it with board game aficionados who, whilst not always being Star Trek fans, have also consistently enjoyed this experience. Star Trek The Next Generation interactive video board game is a complex, light roll and move game that is pulled off with incredible style by the production values, quality of components, strong and loving dedication to the lore and theme from the designers, and a powerhouse performance from the great Robert O'Reilly, who takes a break from his usual role of Klingon Chancellor Gowron to portray the despicable Captain Kavok who seeks to spark a war with the Federation. Of all the video games out there, this, in my opinion, is the very best, and a game I will treasure for the rest of my life. Until next time, this is Sean from The Lucky Roll. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, all that good YouTube stuff. And until next time, good luck, God bless, and live long and prosper.